I'm like indifferent on them. I think that maybe they'll block out some of the headache-inducing nonsense so I can get through this podcast before I like throw up from intense pain or whatever's going on in my head.
Yeah.
Maybe those pills I took will work.
You're going through something.
My menopause. Getting hot flashes and headaches. You know what it is I'm allergic to all this hard work. Fucking up till like 2 a.m. packing and shipping these Fakakta t-shirts that we decided to sell, and now I realize that
all the reasons why you stopped doing it in the first place.
Well, some of them. It's fine when they're actually selling. The just that I did realize I've volunteered to have basically a second job. So I'm working 40 hours a week in the sun in Florida, hot, humid sun, and then I get to go home and, at least it's my second job's air conditioned. Jesus.
And you can like sit on the bed and do it.
Sit on the bed and do it. Work in my bed. You know how unproductive that would be?
You get like 3 shirts packed away before you're like, fuck it, I'm taking a nap.
Or whatever you do in your bed. Jerking off, watching YouTube, whatever. So, yeah, that's weird. But I guess since we're on the... wow, I yelled that really loud.
You did.
But on the topic of this, before we get off it, might as well just plug our own business for a second here, that we have finally gotten... All right, here's the deal. We did pre-orders on these shirts for like 2 weeks because basically we didn't have the money to lay out any money to buy a stock.
We did well in pre-orders.
So we did a bunch of pre-orders, and all the profit from those, we went to order more shirts.
Mm-hmm.
So now not only do we have the pre-orders going out, but now when you make a regular order for these designs, we have it, and it can go out, boom, same day or next day.
We've got stock.
Right now we do. So
ooh, I'm looking at the wall of BC right here.
Yeah, I've got them all in our recording studio. I've got stacks of folded shirts that have to be. I mean, they're organized, but they have to find a new place. But
you're so good at folding shirts, Ben.
Me, listen. I had when you used to have a T-shirt company like 6-7 years ago, and that's all you did for a living for 2 years was take orders, print shirts, mail them out. You better get good at that shit. Otherwise, what are we talking about?
I 100% couldn't fold a shirt. That's good.
I was thinking of this is like inside baseball. I don't know if anyone's gonna appreciate this. I was thinking of rolling them. My roommate, he's like, because he used to be in a band.
Yeah.
And they toured and they sold merch. And he's like, we should just roll them up. We use some masking tape and write on each one the size and whatever. I'm like, yeah, but I don't just have to write the size. I have to write which design it is, whether it's men's or women's. It's like now we're into a whole complicated...
You need a label.
Yeah. So I'm like, and besides, I don't know if masking... Listen, when you're buying a shit-ass band shirt from a shit-ass band at the middle of the night, and there's no lights and you can't even see what you're getting, I don't want to eventually have a bunch of shirts with like masking tape residue on them.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, I don't know how this is going to come out, but I'm going to try and ship it and see if they say. I don't want it. I want people to be happy. So So last night I was just like, I was doing 2 things. I was playing poker online because we have don't tell anybody, but we have like a app and we have a group and you play for real money, and money's not exchanged electronically through the app. We just Venmo your win or loss to the guy running the thing, and he then Venmo's. If you lost, you send it to him. Yeah. If you win, he sends to you, and that's fun. And I've been making a little bit of money doing it, and it's a good time killer when you're doing a menial thing like backing all these shirts up that I can just glance over at my phone and hit raise, call, fold, whatever, and try and have a third income come. So yeah, I don't know. It's been a crazy week.
We got the 2 designs up too. It's great.
Yeah,
I'm glad we got a little bit. We started with variety.
Well, yeah. Well, I think before we start telling some stories here, I think we've got 1 or 2 designs going up this week, and I'll do a spoiler that we're going to be selling hats of the main design soon. Yeah. I have to redesign it for a hat so it fits right and is readable.
Just fill in those holes.
And I'm not sure what that means, but
I'm not sure am I.
But yeah, so we got more stuff coming, so stay tuned. But anyway, so we had a crazy week. I don't know if you want to talk about any of it. No, we can't talk about work stuff because the boss sometimes listens. So you can't make it a bitter bitch fest
there is one thing that came out of this work week that legitimately I'm like, man. And we did a call a few days ago for a chain of a hotel chain, and the call for whatever reason didn't work out. The proper information wasn't given, and it was just a regular. We show up, we show up. We try to get our we try to get our authorization to do our job.
We can talk about that one because it wasn't a mistake on our company's fault.
No,
we were subcontracted.
And in fact, I don't even want to call it a mistake on the subcontractors end either, because even though at the end of the day they dropped the ball I don't want to say they dropped the ball because I don't believe they did, man. It's just the fucking tool shed that we spoke to.
Okay, so I guess since it was me,
yes,
I should be telling this.
And I have second person heat for I wanted to drive up there and be like, all right, motherfucker, I'm gonna give you a reason to hate me.
Well, so we go this thing and on these hotels we were testing these. Long story short, they're called backflows. They control. The direction of water pressures.
No. All domestic backflow that we test, it just makes sure that water doesn't...
control the direction of water.
Well, okay.
So the water doesn't flow back into the city.
All right, big guy.
I mean, come on. You're correcting me when you just literally said what I said.
I did.
But you wanted to overcomplicate it.
Yeah, but I've smoked more than you.
Yeah. Okay. So they have to be tested annually to make sure they pass some certain checks and pressures and all this other bullshit that nobody cares about.
Yeah.
And for these bigger buildings, because they house many people, or they're hotels, or they have water pumps, or for whatever the reason, you definitely need to let powers that be know that you're there, and that now we're going to be turning. The water's going to be shut off for a little bit while we do this, and if you got to shut a pump off, or if you need to whatever, maybe sometimes they're chained up, so we can't open them until they undo the locks, or what else? Or some buildings need to let their residents know 48 hours in advance, 24 hours, just like where we live.
Yeah,
we always get advance warnings of any of that shit. So a lot of times that doesn't happen, and we have to reschedule because of whatever reason. We get there, and the guys calls the maintenance guy down to deal with me because he has no idea what I'm talking about. And it's a hotel. And we're already frustrated because we were given the wrong hotel name. And we weren't sure if this was the hotel or not because even the address numbers were wrong. They were dyslexically jumbled a little bit.
I only really figured it out because we've done enough with this company that contracts us that I was like, okay, well, obviously this is the place.
Yeah, but instead of 7023, it was 7303.
Yeah. It was jumbled up, and it was jumbled up with the same letters.
But because we weren't sure it was a place, we looked to see if the actual a place with the actual name was within the area,
and it was.
So we're like, well, and we call the office, and they don't have an answer for us right away. So we're like, fuck it. So sitting here waiting for a phone call.
It was like a 6-minute drive.
Oh, yeah. It was 2 miles down the road. We're like, let's go over there. We go over there. It's not the place.
No.
Because for whatever reason, the numbers don't match up. Or I don't even know if we had the numbers yet, but I think it just wasn't a place.
No, they were all tagged by a different company very recently.
Yeah.
So it was okay, so this has been done. Obviously, this has been done.
Yeah.
So we were in the right place. Just something was jumbled.
Well, we wanted to double check.
Yeah.
While we were waiting to confirm, because we didn't have the information to confirm, we were like, fuck it, let's spend 6 minutes to go over there. So we're spinning wheels. And we're getting annoyed because, it's like, here we go, a fuck show. We always want to show up, everything goes smooth, and we get the fuck out of there. Because we have other calls. This is like the first call of the day or whatever. And so we go back and we go in. We confirm this is a place because they finally send us the serial numbers of the fucking things. And we go look at one. And we're like, yep, that's it. Just same numbers. Well, let's go in. And go in, and the maintenance guy comes down, and he's confused because we're not the plumbing company because
Yeah.
they're not certified to check them anymore. They're subcontracting it out with us. And I say that to him. I explain that to him. And he's like, oh. And he's like already like kind of like annoyed because maybe he thought this was a bait and switch or a shake and bake or a whatever you want to call it. And then he's like, looks at the invoice, because we write up a whole work order and they have to sign off on it before we touch anything. And he goes, oh, so-and-so, which is our parent company that owns our company. Complicated bullshit that we don't have to get into. And he's like, well, I go, well, yeah, they own us. And I said, but we're subcontracted with the plumbing company that you have a contract with. And he's like, oh, I don't know anything about this. I have, I'm like, okay, do you want to call them? I'm like trying to make it simple. I'm being customer service guy, even though I'm already annoyed that like I'm seeing flaming hoops ahead of me. Yeah. Flaming fucking hoops that I'm gonna have to jump through, and I'm not in the best of shape these days, and I'm like, am I gonna fit through these hoops? Can I jump that high and all this shit? So he's like, oh, burr, 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 burr. And he's starting to get grumpier and grumpier, and I'm like, go ahead and you want to give him a call right now, or we can come back or whatever. He's like. He goes, well, they have in their contract, like he's now quoting Bible and verse from the contract. And I'm like, how does he fucking even remember? They're like, he's like, in the contract, they have to alert us ahead of time if they're not the ones that are going to be doing it, if they're sending someone else to do it. I'm like, okay, do you want, and again, I'm like, well, we can solve this right now. Yeah. I didn't say like this part to him, but instead of us all wasting our time a second time, we could call them right now. And like, I'm also hoping that like me going, call them right now, is a little bit of confidence in that we're not the flim flam gang trunk slamming, driving around trying to sell hot stuff on the back of a truck. And so he's like, he's not interested in it. He's like, no, we'll just have to do this another time. And I'm like, okay. And I like literally, I don't care.
Because while Ben's doing that, I'm listening to Karens Go Wild on the radio.
Yeah, they have a segment, the daily Karen blow up from the internet.
Thing of the day.
Right. So I know you turn it up really loud. And you almost have a radar sense. We'll have the radio because a lot of times when the ads are running, because it's terrestrial radio and there's a gazillion ads,
we turn it down.
We turn it all the way down, and then you have this like supernatural spider sense, and you know when to turn it up, and they're just jumping into that segment. We never miss it, and I don't know, it's supernatural. So I'm like, all right, okay, and I'm like thinking, fuck it, we'll be back, because this is all just stupidity, and they, we're supposed to be here. There's nothing bad going on.
We always come back.
Yeah, we always come back. But also, like, if they didn't know we were coming, and they need to, because it's a hotel, they need to schedule a time to do it because, the water will be off for a little bit, whatever the reason. If they want to do it at some really early hour or after people have kind of like, that like commuter push for the day, if they want to do it after 10, so that there's as few people as possible taking a shower, or even if after checkout time, I would think
about noon,
like 1 to 2 o'clock is probably the ideal time to do it during business hours for a hotel. So, because that's where all the turnover is, and no one's really jumping in a shower then. So, whatever. So I'm walking out the door. I know he's leaving with me, and we split. I go to the truck, and he goes the other way to whatever he had. I don't remember what he had, either like a big fluorescent light tube or something. He was on his way to do something when he came down. Talk to me, and he's on his way, and I open the truck, and I just say to you, like, out in the open, but like, I don't care, we're done. And I'm not saying it to the guy, oh, this is a total fuck show, and I start to explain why, not in any, I don't say, the only thing I said was it was a fuck show. I didn't say the guy was a piece of shit. I didn't say anything bad about him either. He was just doing his as I'm doing, I get in the truck, we close up, and
that's it for the day. We don't think another thing of it, because those calls, they come, they go, we go back, and we do our tests, and nothing ever changes in that aspect.
And and every time it's like the problem or the speed bump or the hurdle,
it's a phone call.
No. It's always something different. So it's like this time it was something totally different from any other time. And it was like it's almost like you almost can't like say, oh yeah. On some occasions, you can go, okay, from now on, we know not to do this, or we know to do that. This was another one of those one-offers,
And we just go about the rest of our day, no problems. Then yesterday, we're in the middle of Miami doing a call, and I get a phone call asking me if we had been verbally confrontational with that gentleman. And I was like, what? And first off, I think we've made it plenty known on this podcast. I have an impeccable customer service face.
You have this nauseatingly saccharine sweet bullshititis, whatever you want to call it.
It is like it's a character turn and a half. It's Oscar worthy.
It's like it is absolutely like watching you switch into another personality.
So I know, and the amount of times in my life where I've flat out gone off on somebody, like, not in a business setting.
Well, you knew it wasn't you.
Yeah,
sure.
I knew it wasn't me. So I'm like, I didn't just like pause for a moment, my body go and take care of business, come back, replay, and I'm good. No,
blacked out.
Yeah, you were there,
and you know that if I had done that, you'd have heard me tell you about it.
Yes, exactly.
Because I'd have been excited to tell you about
the. Ben Tipples doesn't hold that kind of shit back for very long.
No.
So, and let's be honest, everybody has a job. Well, most people have a job, I suppose, nowadays. But in your job, there's moments where you're just like, something frustrating happens, and then the confidence of either your mind space or if you're around, your fellow employees, you're just kind of like, well, that was fucking frustrating. And that was all that moment was for us. Was that, well, another fuck show. But we know it's going to get handled and we'll be back.
And when I said it's another fuck show, and I started explaining it to you, I made it like it's on. I didn't even say it was this guy that's the problem. I said it was the plumbing company that didn't notify them or whatever.
And we have those issues from time to time. And we had spent a little extra time. Plus, it was raining. It was just like, this was a waste of 25 minutes.
Raining, all right. And again, I can't reiterate for people that don't live in South Florida. During the summer, it's hot as fuck as it is. Like, when we were at that busybody gym, 9 a.m.
Yeah.
I was on the east side of that building where the sun was just fucking hitting me.
Yeah.
And I could feel my energy getting
broiling.
And I was in the sun for like 5 minutes. I was so happy you left the van there.
So like when it rains. When it rains and then the heat comes back out and the extra humidity and the evaporation.
You can literally almost wave your hand through the air and it'll get wet.
It's so
And it's like it feels thick, and it feels thick in your lungs. And you, like we said on that other job, you get out of the truck, you go stand and put your hands on your hips and look at the thing, and walk back to the truck, and you're drenched in sweat like you just ran a marathon. And you're breathing heavy.
It's pretty crazy. So there was nothing more than there was just that general frustration, and then we move on. And so I get the phone call, like, were we verbally confrontational? I was like, no. First off, Ben did all the handling, and I know you didn't go off, kilter on the guy because I had heard it.
Right.
I would have known.
Plus, I'd have been talking about it all day because it would have gotten me all riled.
We'd be talking about it right now. This story would be completely different.
Right.
So.
And if we'd have gotten into a match, a yibber yabber together or whatever you want to call it, I'd have secretly pulled my phone out and recorded it.
Yeah. And the reason why, like, even when you walk in the van and go, it's a shit, like, I didn't register any of that because that's just normal daily.
Shit show's just a term we use.
Yeah, it's there's nothing behind it whatsoever. So, like, to me, it was just like, because he's like, did you curse or anything? I didn't even, like, think until you had mentioned, it's like, well,
Or fuck show. I don't remember.
Yeah.
Which one it was. Shit show, fuck show is the same thing.
But you had said it entering the vehicle, but I didn't even register it because it's just normal, verbiage for us. And I didn't know that the gentleman
had walked out with me.
Had walked out with you.
Mm.
So I'm so fucking confused whatsoever was going on. I'm like, what are you talking about? Was there an alternate universe?
Mm.
But apparently the guy, the tool shed, told a different story. That you were just confrontational and it was a real fuck show.
Well, I forgot. Let's put, because this refers to what you're saying, what you're about to say. I forgot when he looked at the invoice and he goes, "Oh, GRC," or I'm sorry, but our parent company. Fuck it, I don't care.
Yeah.
They go. Right. He's like, "Oh," his demeanor immediately changed.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't understand, whatever. And then when we got in the truck, I told you about that, and we both start combing over the invoice to see where it says something other than our company's name on it.
And I have the sticker on
and they're at the bottom left corner of the actual clipboard that the invoice is clipped to, or whatever you want to call it, it's peeking out the bottom.
Yeah, because
So
I'm a
he saw-
I'm a
he's-
14-year-old girl and I have to have stickers on my clipboard.
So he saw that. Yeah, there's a big barbecue one. And here's a side note. It was on the clipboard on the part where you write.
You moved it.
I had to move it, and you were getting all angry. I was moving. I'm like, dude, you put it on sloppy, and there's like all these like waves and bubbles.
I was very proud of
and
that.
so when I'm trying to write, it wouldn't write over that because it wasn't it would, but it would. All my letters look like I had epilepsy because it was going over these bumps and stuff.
It's Pearl's Barbecue in Gainesville. It's phenomenal. Stop off anytime you can. I highly recommend it.
Right, but it's still on your clipboard. I just moved it to the back.
He did. He moved it to the back. But that sticker's very, very
So that
valuable.
guy. So when the boss is telling you this guy's side of it,
Yeah.
he mentions that he had a falling out, like
With-
that our company used
Yeah.
to do the landscaping there, and that there was some issue or falling out or whatever. And I'm thinking, oh, he saw that, and then told us that was a perfect reason to tell us to go kick rocks. But
Yeah.
he couldn't say that. He
Yeah.
had to cite, John 3:16 of the
Yeah,
fucking
it's-
contract.
And it was annoying because it's like, listen, everything else aside, I take a fair amount of pride in my customer service ability.
Yeah, I don't.
So
I don't even take pride
so
in
like,
yours.
so like, because a lot of my job is de-escalation. So I'm really good at de-escalating situations, which doesn't seem intuitive at all if you know me. But I'm fairly good at it. And
What's funny is I was watching what's that movie with God. This is gonna be a terrible segue because I can't remember the name of the movie now.
you're giving me nothing here, buddy.
The one where the guy,
The one with the guy.
where Luke Wilson falls asleep, goes in the future, and the world's retarded.
Oh,
Idiocracy.
Idiocracy.
So I picture you being him talking to these fucking idiots,
Oh yeah.
and you start using big words,
Yeah.
and they're like, "Fuck you for talking faggot," you know.
Pretty much. Pretty much. Sometimes it's how it feels like, because
You and your fancy words.
Yeah. How dare you attack me with context and proper nouns?
Slapping me in the face with a fact. Rational thought.
And that's why
Where's my kitchen knife?
And that's why I deal exclusively with conjecture and wild and wild accusations outside of work, because during work it's all about facts and proper contextualization. So yeah, it was just one of those things where I got hot. I was like, no, motherfucker. We didn't do shit. We were the
No motherfucker?
Yeah,
To your boss?
We were no, well, listen.
Or just a no motherfucker tone?
Yeah, the no motherfucker tone. Like, no,
I don't remember
motherfucker,
you saying
we
no
did
motherfucker.
good. We did good. I know we did good, because if we did bad, I'll own up to it. And besides which, as we know, when I do go on the other side of the realm of rationality, everyone figures it out anyway. I'm not very subtle, so I know we had what our president would call a perfect call.
Mm-hmm.
We had a perfect call.
Right.
It was a perfect call. Okay? It didn't go right that moment, but it was set up to go right the next moment when we fixed the one issue from our from the company that was contracting us out. So it was a perfect call. No, and then he just like, oh, this guy tells a completely different story. Like, but to his credit, our boss was like, no, I defended the shit out of you guys.
I know my guys. Blah, blah,
Yeah,
blah. Yeah, that kind
yeah,
of stuff.
and it's true. Like, this is an instance where it's true. Like I spent 15 years perfecting the role of loud, abrasive asshole. I'm not subtle when I get into that role. So, and when I do go off on it, man, I'm real honest afterwards when I come down and go, all right, maybe I said some things that I shouldn't have said. And I find myself doing a fair amount of apologizing in my life, so I'm good at that as well. I fucked up and I said some things, but this was not one of those occasions. Mostly because my only interaction with this gentleman was, I think we saw him walk from building to building on our roundabouts, trying to drive around and figure out what backflow goes where, or where we were at. We just didn't know, and plus it was raining, so we're just waiting for that. I think I may have seen him walk, but we had no direct interaction. So I'm getting mad for you, because if he tried to say whatsoever what had been to him, like, nah, I know for a fact you didn't. And it's one of those things, man. It's just lingering heat. Like I know, like one of us will have to go back up there.
No, he might send the other crew.
All right, that's a good idea.
Yeah, they might have to.
That's a good idea.
Because I'm pretty irked that I've had words put in my mouth.
Yeah, shit, right?
I mean, technically I didn't. I said a naughty word, quote unquote.
But you did have words put in your mouth because...
I didn't say it to him. It was a private conversation to you, and I wasn't running him down. I wasn't talking shit about him, right?
Well, but you did have words put in your mouth. Because remember, the beginning of the situation was that we had a verbal confrontation with him.
Yeah.
And that word was said at some point as you entered the vehicle.
Right.
But he alluded to a whole scenario that never happened.
Right.
And that's what pisses me off.
Yeah.
And that's why
you volunteered to go up. Like we say, if we're going to be accused of the crime, we may as well earn it by doing it.
I'll go back up there. I'll write him down. He'll have the fucking last rites fucking to his name, about to fucking slit his own throat before I'm done with him. But I don't want to do that. I would much rather just go about my day. But it irked me that we had been accused of something that we didn't do. Especially when I pride myself on my professionalism, at least while I'm on at job. Outside of job, I'm a fuck show. But
see, we just used the word again. So
there you go.
so that conversation goes on for like I don't know, like 5 minutes, where it starts to become circular.
Yeah.
Since you're talking on speaker, I'm explaining to him because he said like we cursed at him or something, and I said no one cursed at him, but I did say fuck or shit. I don't remember if I used shit show or fuck show because they're basically interchangeable.
Us owning up to the idea that, okay, we may have said something.
I said, he walked out after me. He would have heard me say that to Marco, but it wasn't in relation to him, and it was not that at that point. It was none of his goddamn business. It definitely wasn't a confrontation to him, which is what he was now misrepresenting. So I guess this is to be continued, but
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure we're not going.
No.
I'm pretty sure they're sending the A team. The B team isn't going.
No, the B team's going to chill back for that one. Besides which, fucking, man, I think this upcoming week, maybe they can do a little bit more traveling than us. I mean, we put some miles on the road to this week.
It's like the song "I've Been Everywhere." Man.
We have been everywhere in South Florida a few different times this week.
Yeah. Never the right place at the right time. There's a couple of spots we like to eat. Yeah. And we're always like make the poor decision of like, oh, we don't look at all the calls first, and then we're like, all right, we'll eat at Wawa this morning, and then like at 10:30 in the morning, we know we're by the Forest Grill up there, and we're like, well, we're both full, and this it's just not practical.
No, and
then the rest of the day is just full of regrets over food.
Yeah, we spent a lot of our day thinking about food.
I really wanted to go to La Fonda when we drove right by it, and I was like, too bad we both just ate. Yeah. So I just wanted you to see the place because this place is legendary. I don't know. I'm gonna say it's probably not Colombian, but let's for the sake of argument say it's Colombian like restaurant, and so they have like Hispanic, Latin American food. It's good, and I get this meal sometimes there that's like it's like only like $15, and it has more food than I could possibly eat in a like two.
Oh, you were explaining
to
me
like
chicken, beef,
and it's like for keto carnivore people, you could say no rice, and you can and it's like an egg, and it's a piece of chicken, and it's a piece of steak, and a thing of pork, and sausage and chorizo sausage and I forget what the pork belly things are, chicharrones, and it's just like an insane. It's on a bigger plate than anything else they serve anything else on. But the beauty of this place is that it's like that episode of Seinfeld where every lady that works in it is smoking hot with giant boobs.
Got them tig old biddies.
Oh my God. And I know, unlike the Seinfeld episode where they all ended up being the owner's daughters, these women are not related in any way to one another. And they wear those like spandexy umpire, like Foot Locker-y type tops. Ooh. Oh my God. The first time my old boss Tony took me in there, he's like, you're gonna love this place. And I sit down in my head. I don't even know where to look. My head was spinning.
Yeah, we got it. There's a few places though. We have that option where we can pretty much choose our own destiny with our day. We always go,
but it's not practical to be like, we want to eat in West Palm Beach, but all our calls are in Miami.
Yeah, like I said, we keep it practical. Well, we're building up a list of places in all three areas: Broward, West Palm, and Dade. So or a Miami-Dade for those. So it's like one of those things where we're going to get to a point to where any time that we're in an area and we feel hungry, we know there's going to be 2 or 3 places within
that are
arm shot.
I mean, there's always places with an arm shot, but that we like. And
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and we're a little bit more. I mean, we slowed down. We were trying to get a little bit more experimental with some of the places.
We're getting fat too.
I was about to say, this whole thing has been fun, but as I stand on the scale this morning at 237, I go a legit 237.
You weigh more than AJ now.
Don't say that.
You should have waved. You passed each other like a day or two.
So, Marco's thinking that maybe is a good time to go on a diet before we need an intervention. But he then spent $50 at a food truck last night.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So how was that? I saw the pictures. You finally did the right thing.
God,
took pictures. For
I
the
did take.
Instagram.
In fact, it's funny. I was setting them all up, and the wife comes out, and she's like, she sees the food. She's like, "Oh my God!" She's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Ben wants Instagram photos," and I'm like, "I'm doing my best here."
Yeah.
I tried. I actually tried for that. So there you go. That was my lamest of lame attempts at Instagram food.
At contribution.
Yes,
to the Instagram page.
I'm working on it.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So, so this was what was the place called?
It was called 30.
30 Slide. Or
Yeah,
something.
30 Slider.
It's stupid.
30 Slider.
It's a dumb name.
Listen,
It's a play at 305. 30 Slide. 305,
okay,
the area code of Miami.
It's a dumb name.
It's stupid. You didn't get that, did you?
I did not. Did not at all. But what I did get
That means it's a
was
stupid name.
incredible food.
Yeah.
All right, so your name is Dumb 30
right.
Slide. Your food is phenomenal.
Trigger warning. You may get hungry.
Yes, you may. So, they have a pretty decent menu for a food truck. Like, there's a lot of variety. Everything from a hamburger to they've got their chicken fingers. I got the chicken and waffles.
Well, see, they got a fryer and a grill top, so you can make almost anything.
Yeah, they've got
they probably do
pulled
breakfast
pork.
at
They
some
do
point.
jerk pork, jerk chicken, regular chicken. They've got a really reasonable variety. I really like the menu. However, saw as and here's the problem, guys. Here's the problem. I came home. I think I took a nap. Then I took a shower. Then I smoked a bowl. It's Friday night, and I'm sitting.
So you're ready to fucking eat.
So, but I had already put out. Some. I was going to make tacos, and so I had everything out to make tacos, and then Natalia takes one of her breaks, and in the middle of her, she started cooking like a one of those turkey burgers that you love so much.
Mm-hmm. That I just ate.
Oh,
I made too. When you wanted to come over 45 minutes ago.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm cooking. Come in 45 minutes.
So she made one. In the middle of her making one, I'm like, I'm sitting there thinking about my food, and I'm fucking, like, the high is hitting me. So I'm just like, what am I thinking about? And all of a sudden, for some reason, chicken and waffles is flashing in my mind.
Yeah, but
Because earlier in the day, I had told you when I looked at my phone, and they were like,
our community
app
has, like, every week or every other week has food trucks come, and so
twice a week.
They email you or whatever through the app.
So every day they text you which food truck's going to be there, and we've got a few different food trucks that make their rounds, but this is the one I wanted to try because of the chicken and waffles, and I missed it the last time. So I was like, damn, but I was like, oh, I'm too high. This is not going to end well. Because I'm perfectly capable of getting in my vehicle, driving to the food truck, and ordering. What I'm not capable of is ordering like an adult. So I get there, and look, okay, we'd already made our food. I could have just gotten one order of chicken and waffles that we would have split. and I could have gotten like a side of like mac and cheese because it would be. I was like, my wife loves mac and cheese, so I was like, I'll get her some mac and cheese, and
That was mac and cheese fries or mac and cheese?
Originally I was just gonna order mac and cheese. What I ended up getting was a full order of mac and cheese fries.
I just want to make sure I had represented them properly on Instagram.
Sprinkled with bacon, which is fantastic. And they're way better than they had any right to be. But originally I was going to get a side, but what had happened was I got to order, nobody was there. So I'm like, all right, cool, I have a moment. And, the woman asked me what I want. I'm like, well, I know I want an order of chicken and waffles. And I know if I don't get something for Natalia, but since I'm high, I'm eating all my chicken and waffles.
Right. You don't want to share, and you don't want heat either.
Yeah, so I'm like, 2 orders of chicken and waffles. By the way, chicken and waffles doesn't have a price. Don't care. Just order 2 of them.
Did you ever figure out what the price was?
Expensive.
I wonder with food trucks, it's all like market price depending on the cost of gas. Or something?
and then I see the side order of mac and cheese, but then I see fries, and I'm like, man, I really want some fries. And then I look down like mac and cheese fries, and I'm like, all right, well, we're getting that.
That's like discovering peanut butter and jelly or chocolate and peanut butter all over again.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, they've already made this decision for me, so I ordered a full order of that.
What I in the past have liked to combine mac and cheese with is chili. I dump a can of because I'm like, I don't want to cook chili all day. So I get a can of canned chili and a pack of like Velveeta mac and cheese and put it all together. And it's like this.
That's not a bad combination.
It's a great combination.
Ooh, that's good.
Yeah.
So I see that, and then as I turn to her, she goes, "Is that it?" And I turn, and they have a sticker on the window that says churros.
It looked out of place, but I guess it fits. I don't know.
1 for 2, 2 for 3. And again, I was like, oh, I totally need a fucking churro in my life, but I'm not sharing one. So 2 of those.
You know what? I've had churros, but they're just like a fried. What is it?
It's fried fucking dough in
it's
a
like
star
a fried
shape.
stick. Yeah, it's like like you use a Play-Doh thing that's squirted out.
Yeah, pretty much. And
but it's real like light, right? It's like airy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And
then dumped with cinnamon sugar.
And she goes, "You want anything to drink with all this?" And I was like, "Oh."
I saw those. Those were orange juice, or what were they?
So I looked over and I saw sodas, and I'm like, "Oh, I'll just grab a Coke for me." And she's got her air water she drinks. So, the fucking LaCroix bullshit. Yeah, the water hinted at a smell from 3 miles away, and that's what you
might as well lick a lime than drink from a puddle.
Yeah, pretty much. It's fucking awful, but she loves it so. So I was thinking, I'm like, no, I'll just get me a Coke. But then I look up, and they're like, mango pineapple lemonade.
Jesus Christ.
Handmade. And I'm like, I'll have 2 of those as well. Again, I don't share well. So, and she's like, all right, cool. And she's like, it's like 45, whatever. And it's like $40. But then I was like, well, thank you. She was so kind. And I'm like, you know what? I didn't see one around. And I'm like, maybe they're having a good day. And, this is going to be good. So I they're local. I'll tip well. So I left like 20%. So it's like $50 at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Because, shit, man, your business is you're in a truck cooking. Like, there's no employees there. It's a dude and his wife. It's what their living is based off of. So I'm going to tip well. Hoping my food is going to be as fantastic as I hoped, as it looked.
Right. God,
was it? Bro, by the time I got it back to the apartment.
What was in those waffles? Were they just...
That's what I'm going to get to right now. So by the time... I didn't know. Bro, I had seen it in the app, chicken and waffles, and I saw the thing, chicken and waffles. Now they have a picture of the chicken and waffles, but I'm not paying attention to the picture. I don't care about the picture. I'm buying it.
You'd had chicken and waffles in your head for 4 hours. So
yeah, so when I open the box... And I'm like, what is this? First off, there's bacon baked into the fucking waffles.
All right.
Okay.
I'm with you.
Second off, there's bacon sprinkled all within the filling, which is a very generous portion of lightly breaded fried chicken dipped in like this. It was like this spicy maple.
Yeah. I made that before.
Oh, it had like red pepper flakes.
Have you ever? I've like. I almost never do syrup or honey without putting some some heat in it anymore.
Yeah, there was like this mapley honey. It was, oh my god, man! And it was, it was sprinkled in.
I used to mix it with sriracha.
Yeah, so that chunks of bacon, and it was so good, man. It was so, and like the mac and cheese was like, man, they used the good cheese.
They use actual cheese.
Yeah.
Not cheese with a Z.
No.
And an extra cheese.
Bacon bit scrambled over nice lightly these nice fries. Oh my god, so good. It was so good. Bro, I mean, and then the mango pineapple lemonade. Yeah, it was fantastic. The whole meal was fantastic. I was mad at myself because I'm like, you shouldn't have spent $50 on this. But after I was done, I was like, nah, man, that's all right. Like, all right, you got me. I'm not gonna do that again. Like, if I go again, I'm gonna just one order of something and call it a day.
I'm gonna order it before I get high.
Yeah, but I don't feel like I wasted money here. I feel like we made a generous transaction. Everyone won in this transaction.
Right.
So I was happy with that. So yeah, we get these food trucks, and now the only food truck I'm really like excited about. I mean, I'll try it, but I'm not a big gyro guy. We have a gyro food truck.
Is it gyro, hero, gyro?
However you fucking pronounce it. I've always seen people get mad when you pronounce it gyro. They're like, it's a fucking gyro. So I say gyro because I don't want to be yelled at. But maybe it's gyro. Who the fuck knows? I guess it depends on who you speak with.
I'll say it's whatever the fuck I want it to.
But there's a food truck for just exclusively that. But I'm not jazzed about that.
Is it exclusively that? Did you walk up and look at the menu?
Because they post the menu.
Oh.
They post it. So they do the most annoying. Our community does the most annoying fucking thing. They post on the app the event, and it comes up like a Facebook event, but within the app. Uh-huh. So it's got the picture of the menu, but all this writing over it. So you're trying to fucking like read the menu, but they don't have a separate menu option where you can.
What, they put like graphics over the menu?
Yeah.
Like the menu's a background?
Yeah, and it's annoying as fuck.
Yeah.
But you have like.
But you could. Yeah, I bet the food truck has a website or something.
Yeah, you probably,
or an Instagram. You can look at pictures.
There might even be a hot link that goes there.
Yeah.
I don't fucking know, man.
That's a bridge too far.
Listen, bro, do I look like a hacker to you?
What, do I look like? I went to school at Einstein or something? I don't know if anyone will get that reference, but
I don't get that fucking reference.
It's funny anyways.
Was that thing
do I look like I went to the Harvard?
Was that fucking like Reanimator or something?
No, it's somebody on TikTok.
Oh, okay. Okay.
This is an old, hilarious lady. She is hilarious. The guy just basically films her doing really ridiculous stuff.
Oh, Jesus.
It's hilarious. I
will
send you for a deep dive.
So we got the shirts. We've got, and it was a good meal. It was a good meal. It helped me get over what was a painful week for me.
Oh, it was comfort food.
It was comfort food.
Did it
really
wrap you in its spicy mapley arms?
It made me forget about all the money that
give you mac and cheese flavored kisses in your ear.
It made me feel better about all the money I saw come crashing literally to the ground over the course of the week.
We're not talking about that because I'll get you all fucking. I will have a field day with you.
Yeah, I figured as much. So
I took a good shot at you.
So here's the thing. So my wife doesn't understand men at all. And
like men, not like 2020 men. She probably understands them really well.
Yeah, the little simps. Yeah, she understands simps really well. She doesn't understand men, real men.
Yeah.
So many years ago, when I first met her, when we were doing the Penn convention.
Oh, you can bring up Penn? Because I had a Penn story I was thinking of telling.
Well, we can bring it in. So,
we'll
work it in. We'll work it in. So Penn was the best convention that no one ever went to.
Pinned, Pinned.
I said Penn, didn't I?
No, I'm just like.
Oh, okay. I want to make sure I wasn't mispronouncing.
You sounded penned or something.
No, yeah.
Pinned, like pinup.
Yeah,
it was a pinup show.
So
like tattoos, rockabilly. That kind of thing.
And it was a really cool little thing, man.
Yeah.
Like live tattoos, and we had
bands all weekend.
That's where we met Puddles.
Burlesque. Puddles, the pity party clown.
Which was fantastic.
Was still available to do shows of our size back
Yeah.
then. So we hung out with him all weekend.
And yeah, the burlesque and all that. So it was a really, really fun weekend. And but prior to that, the lead up, so we had these cosplay girls that did all the cosplay, did all the photo shoots for us.
Mhm.
Well, Broder did a pinup shoot with all the girls, and my wife was involved in that.
Mhm.
So she's been getting stuff from her house, moving over to the apartment. Well, she pulls off this big poster of one of her pinup shoots. And I was like, oh, that's really cool. She goes, yeah, I want you to put it in the garage. And I'm like, well, why in the garage?
Like it's one of those pinup calendar things?
Yeah, exactly.
The 50s.
Exactly. I kid you
Like
not.
it would be in a fire station or a
Yes.
garage, like a grease monkey garage,
100%.
but
And-
like from like 1953.
And I looked at her, and this was no pause. I was like, I can't do that. And she goes, why? I'm like, Ben will mercilessly make fun of me. Mercilessly. She goes, what's wrong with having a pinup a pinup shoot in the garage? I thought it was a manly thing. I mean, you're absolutely right. It is. But you're my wife. It's weird. And she goes, how's it weird? I'm like, I can't explain this to you. But it's a no-no. There's nothing wrong. It's a fantastic photo. You look very attractive. It's all around. There's nothing wrong with the photo. There's nothing wrong with any of this except the presentation of it in my garage.
Let me see if I can explain it. First of all, it's your wife. So
I know, Ben.
So like if a friend walks in, we're gonna go either she made him put that up, or
precisely.
what's wrong with Marco that he's like he sees her every day. He's gotta have a picture of her down here too.
What's he projecting?
Right. I don't know if it's a projection thing, just like all right, calm down. We get it. You love your wife, kind of thing. We get it. All right, we get it. It's like if you were to open your wallet 3 times a day to look at a picture of her.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like this, and so I'm like, so obviously, it's like huge ribbing material.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Huge.
This is why I'm getting ahead of this.
Also, it's like, look at my wife. She looks
Yeah.
hot. Blah blah blah. I mean, you don't want to invite your friends to be looking.
It's weird all around.
Like, I know your wife. We're
Yeah.
friends. I don't want to see her like that.
It's weird
Sorry.
all around.
Sorry.
She doesn't understand. She doesn't get it at all.
We'll flip through Instagram and she'll put up one of her little shoot pictures. I'm like, I gotta. I'm like, what do? I stop and look at it. Then I'm like, it's all conflicting. It's all wrong. So
She doesn't get how weird it is at all. And I'm like, if you want to put it up in your room, or if you want to put it up in the bed, I don't care. Inside terrestrial here, you want to hang it?
yeah, that's fine.
That's fine. It can't go in the garage
Because that's your space.
Because you just have to understand it can't go in the garage. So I thought that was.
It is hard to explain. It is not specifically a specific tangible reason.
And she kept going
but
back
it's a little bit of all that
She
stuff.
kept going back to, you don't like the picture? It's not about the picture. It's irrelevant what the picture's about. It's you.
Right.
In you and a revealing sort of clothing, and it's a nice pose. It's very pinup-y. Just doesn't go in your husband's garage.
Mhm.
And I can't explain it to you adequately, but you have to understand and trust me on this. Because if I do that, and Ben sees it, I'm just gonna see his eyes go wide, dollar signs. I don't know what's gonna happen. It's gonna be crazy.
It would be a week of that. I'd have taken a picture of it, send it to the group.
It'd be like Christmas.
I'd have told everyone at work. I might have made a Facebook post about it. Although I know she would have seen that. I don't want to hurt her feelings, even though
No, it would have all been
even though the
done.
proper amount of ribbing
Yeah.
has to be done for that. So speaking of ribbing and pinned, that's like the scene of the crime for one of my favorite ribs of all time.
Oh, all right, excellent.
So this show was great. It was okay. It was a failed attempt to do like a tattoo, pin-up, music kind of convention. 50s vibe, surf rock vibe kind of thing. You could argue the promoter of the shows who we worked for, who did the comic shows, that at the end of the day, he could have written it off as an expensive wedding because he had his wedding at the end of it. So, there's that. But it was the best time we ever had at a convention, and it was for two reasons. One, we were working for the organization, so you had the run of the place. Two, we weren't wrestling. We weren't putting shows on.
That's right. We were just chilling.
We were working for the show. We were getting as many of the boys, the wrestlers that wanted to, I don't know what it was, $100 a day or whatever it was. If they wanted to work and do some security work and help out in other ways and stuff, that you'd have also free access and could come and go and stay overnight and be at the show. And it was a fun fucking time. Really fun time. And because we didn't have the stresses of running those shows.
Yeah,
it was just a party. Even though we were working, it was a party.
Yeah, we were just hanging out whenever we weren't.
So we were doing like security to make sure people weren't fucking up. And there were a lot of burlesque shows, and everyone knows what burlesque is, but it's like kind of like teasing striptease, but there's not real nudity, or if there is, it's just topless stuff, or down to pasties.
Yeah, it's always down to pasties. It's never past that.
And we knew a bunch of the girls doing it because they would also do burlesque shows at the Comic Cons and things like that, just more thematically. And we would jointly be involved with downtown. They would do shows at some of the bars and stuff, and sometimes those were themed, and our company was sort of loosely involved or whatever with them. Or we just went to see them do a regular one.
Yeah.
Because we knew these people, or a lot of these people, the DJs, some of the girls, whatever. So they're doing them all weekend. We're working like security for them all. And so Adrian, our friend Adrian, who wrestled for us, who always wrestled as the Joker, good kid.
I mean, I have nothing but love for Adrian.
Really good guy.
He's like a brother.
And I always respected him because he works hard to better himself.
Yeah.
He's worked really hard. I think he struggles a little with school, but he like really applies himself and works really hard and got into nursing and got it. I mean, he's doing well, but I watched him over the course of like time how hard he was working towards it, and I was impressed by it. But he's a good guy, and he was doing, he was down the weekend hanging out and helping out and doing the security and stuff. So we had done a couple of burlesque shows, and then I forget what else. We needed like security elsewhere, and there was one more burlesque show, and it was upstairs in one of the rooms. And I go to Adrian, I go, we need someone to do the burlesque show. I don't know who to use. He goes, I'll do it. Because it's like girls doing naked dancing. And I'm like, okay, you got it. But you're by yourself. I don't have anyone else to go. He says, no problem. There hasn't been a problem all weekend with it. If anyone gets weird, I can handle it. Yeah. So we're all downstairs, and I tell them, hey, I tell them Adrian, I reverse psychology, got him to volunteer for this burlesque show, and I go to the guys, but it's an all-male review. He doesn't know that. And so we're all laughing, and we're sitting down there, and we're waiting. We're all literally like kind of just waiting to hear from him in some capacity. And I had the screen cap of it somewhere, but all of a sudden I just get a text. You son of a bitch. I just reply real innocently. Oh, what's wrong? He goes, it's all dudes.
And he sat there and he waited for the women to show up.
It's like watching gay porn for 45 minutes waiting for a woman to show up.
And at some point, because we all know Adrian, so at some point we know he's sitting in the corner, probably his arms folded, watching, just going like, what's happening? Before his eyes go wide, he goes, those sons of bitches.
No. Also, because everyone else was having to do something, I pulled people to do something that wasn't that.
Yeah.
And I think I falsely did that. I don't think we actually had something. So when I told Adrian the made up thing it was,
that
it sounded unappealing.
Yeah.
Which is to get him to volunteer to do the other. So he before this was ribbing people, going, you gotta fucking like basically like whatever, take out the trash.
Yeah.
Let's just say, and I'm gonna be watching girls dancing up there,
Yeah.
and then we're all sitting there. So he was like, puffed out.
I loved it.
Giving other people a business.
Fantastic.
That show is funny because there's a lot of funny things that happen in that show.
A lot we can't talk about.
Well, there's that whole thing, that whole nighttime thing with
I don't even want to get into it, man.
But
I don't even want to slip because that's more editing you'll have
Right.
to do.
well, one of our guests was deathly afraid of clowns, and Puddles is a clown.
That's fantastic. Oh,
And
that's right.
She was deathly afraid of him to the point where she had to drink a whole bottle of wine to deal with it. That was funny. But she was so afraid.
It's
of clowns.
Puddles, man.
I know, but keep in context.
Yeah, he's like 6'6".
Puddles is like 6'6".
He's a big dude, man.
Giant dude, and he doesn't speak.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's the intimidating size and no reassuring voice.
Yeah.
So
the reassuring voice is during the performance, sir.
Oh,
Because he's got some pipes.
he does sing. But the other funny thing was that I almost got into a fist fight.
That's right.
With Lou Spector.
Like one of the few times
at the party after the wedding. So after the show's done, the boss and his wife have a wedding, and Dana, what's his face that does the voice for
Master Shake
on that
Aqua
show.
Team Hunger First.
Right? Yeah, I don't know any of this shit.
I got you, buddy.
He's really, really good friends with the owner, and he had his red velvet Elvis costume.
So good.
And wed him and his wife in that. It was a whole like rockabilly wedding, a swing dancey type.
It was a nice
look.
wedding.
It was nice, and you already had the venue.
Yeah.
You already had basically the catering. You had everything. It was the convention is linked to the hotel and all that stuff that we talked about before. So it was perfect, and everyone was welcome to attend the wedding, but it was after the show had ended, so you would have had to stuck around. Now, then the after party was just for the people that were supposed to be there. And at some point, Lou, who's like this fucking piece of human garbage, to use your coin of phrase,
I'm not
just
disagreeing.
a sleazy piece of shit, comes up to me and is like, "Oh, he's trying to like ask me," and I'm trying to be friendly. It's like someone's wedding, we're all having fun.
Yeah.
He's working for the boss too. Let's all get along. Team spirit, rah rah. He fucking starts, and I'm half fucking tanked at this point. I'm drunk.
Also, there were some other things going on that convention.
Oh yeah. Party favors, right?
Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah. I don't care. I'm not talking around it.
Yeah.
I don't know if I at that point we may have ran out before the end of the fucking show. So he starts like asking me about the fucking bachelor party and giving me the business about how like you guys totally dropped the ball on that. You should have. And I'm like, well, the boss said he didn't want to do any of that stuff. So we did whatever,
Yeah.
I don't know. It was like, it may have just been something. I don't
Like a
even remember
dinner
what
or
it was.
something, man.
It was dinner or
Yeah.
something at the office.
Yeah.
But it was like, he didn't want any of that bullshit. He knew what he was paying me, so he knew I wasn't paying for any of that bullshit.
Yeah.
Oh, I got strippers and hookers and whatever the fuck he was
Yeah.
saying. And I'm getting mad at him to the point where I start screaming and yelling at him. And was it you?
No, because and I've talked about before in this podcast.
I start screaming and yelling, and I'm like, I think I'm at the top of the stage where the
Yeah.
stairs go down, and he's at the bottom of them at that point. And I'm like ready to run down the stage.
No, it wasn't me, man. I wasn't there.
Mark,
Mark,
our buddy from Uproar,
who lost his iPhone that weekend.
was holding me. So a couple people were holding me back, which immediately, as soon as I was being held back, I was like, come on, let's do it right now.
Yeah.
Let's go. I'm sick of your shit.
Yeah.
I wanted to fight him right then and there. I was fucking,
I missed all of this.
I was whacked out drunk.
I was like taking a shit. I don't know what the fuck I was doing.
And I'm screaming for him, and he's walking away, and Mark and maybe Nick and I don't know who else are holding me back. And as soon as I realize I'm being held back, I get twice as loud and twice as animated. I want to fucking fight this motherfucker. But I did also want to fight this motherfucker.
Like I came down after you had calmed down.
I was, well, sort of, because then
Yeah.
we were down by the jacuzzi,
That's when I
and I would retell a story, and then I was like shouting out a challenge to Lou Spector to Miami from outside in the pool area, and people are like, hey, you gotta shut up.
You know, it's funny. Lou's involved in a lot of yelling in parking lots and other outside areas.
He is. He also got. I also had some video footage of him getting choked out by Beast at one time for acting like an asshole at the party.
Put that on TikTok.
I don't know if I've got.
At some point.
I don't know how the clearances on that go.
On legalities,
yeah. But so that's a famous photo I have. You and Nick and Agony in the hot tub with like Doris and Camilla and Natalia, and like I think Nick's wearing his henchman mask.
Oh, he is. That's right. Yeah.
And the girls are like hanging on you guys. Like,
yeah.
it's a funny picture.
It is a funny picture.
Yeah. So, wow, that segued into me fighting Lou, or trying to fight Lou. And yes, I was very drunk, but I'd like to say that sober, I would have probably been pushed to the same point with that bullshit.
No, he's definitely good.
Listen, I'm all for. I think I even caught heat for being a little too all for having the party and fun and whatever at times, especially with work, you know. So don't tell me that I fumbled the ball on someone's stupid fucking bachelor party when that's what they wanted. And I was like, oh, you don't listen to them. You give them what they need, not what they want, or whatever the shit he was saying. And I'm like, no, if I fucking called a bunch of strippers to come over to the fucking office one night to do I'd have caught all kinds of heat for that.
First off, you don't have to really pay for any kind of like travel fees because they pretty much hang out around that place.
Yeah, well, those aren't the kind of
you were thinking
sex
about?
Workers where our office was. It was a bar at one point. It was a very gay bar at one point.
That's true.
It was a gay bar that we found a photo of one of the workers.
Yes, we did.
Working there in his little like banana hammock, panther print, whatever. I never got over that. So I think Mike, the boss, rented the space obviously because it was a good workspace, but it had a bar in it already. So we had a bar, it was like we rebuilt the actual bar part, but it was all laid out. There were sinks. It was like, and at the time,
French?
And at the time he he liked his whiskeys and we entertained there after hours and all that shit. But that area was the wrong side of the tracks, literally. The train drove by there all the time. We even used it in the background of one of Jude's promos, that really rapey. If you watch that promo he did because he did that Clockwork Orange, Alex DeLarge character.
Oh, that's right.
The promo's fantastic.
Yeah.
We did that in like an hour. We edited it together. It was amazing. But the whole promo is the rapey, like ownership of women kind of thing that was from the movie. And we were like so tone deaf to it. Like if you watch it, we could never. Like if you watch it now, you're like, oh my God.
We put Hitler in the ring. There's a lot of things that we wouldn't be able to get away with ever again. Even at the time, we're like,
we put Hitler in the ring, but Captain America punched him out.
That's true.
So we reenacted the cover to Captain America #1. So that was the whole.
But the problem.
Well, let's go back to the thing.
Okay.
So because you brought up strippers and stuff. That area was specifically a place where men hung out, some of them dressed as women, on the opposite side of the street from where our office was, and cars would pull up to get blowjobs from these people. This place was so, you knew my car was a fucking total piece of ragged out shit when I left it in the parking lot for a week and no one fucked with it
or fucked in it.
Right. During Mike and the boys. Because anyone else would have left their car there for 3 days unattended. It would have been up for an overnight. But so that place a lot of times like once or twice, because we'd have parties there, like invite only. Some of those old clientele of the gay bar
we get confused.
Would see that the place was people coming and going, and there were lights on. And they'd like try and come in, like no, this is a private deal. And they're like, oh, because there's lots of cute boys in here.
Oh my goodness.
What were you gonna say?
No, the about the Hitler thing.
Please, let's revisit Hitler.
No, it's funny because my two takeaways from that were that whole thing really went off without a hitch. It pretty much went off exactly the way we wanted it to go off.
It went off too well.
Well, because the other thing, the thing that was really uncomfortable, we had an actor who, by the way, was like 3 foot tall. Like we really played up all the little fun aspects of Hitler because we knew what we were doing.
Well, we had 2 problems. Dan, for all his faults, was fantastic when you just had him being a character,
yes,
and following directions.
Mm-hmm.
The problem was we went for way too much authenticity in this. Instead of like in the fucking movie where they didn't actually put swastikas on anyone.
No, we went straight out.
We went and got real replica costumes,
which probably put us all on a watch list.
Nazi fucking shit for Dan, and we got a whole Hitler's official outfit for the little guy, who wasn't 3 foot, but if he wasn't 5 foot either.
No, he was a tiny fellow.
Yeah.
He was a tiny fellow, so we all played up the laughs of it.
Although I feel like we got the costume fitted to him, and we should have just left it long and baggy.
Yeah.
Like a child in dad's suit.
Have him like step on the arms as he's getting in the ring and flop over.
Just to diminish Hitler in another comical way.
But so the uncomfortable part about that was, as this was all going on, Ben, we had some Nazi sympathizers in the fucking crowd.
That room, sat 1,000?
Something like that, yeah.
And some nights it was pretty full.
Yeah.
Maybe it was less because of the zoning, the union way that they would put the chairs in there, and you could only put this many and this space amount. It was crazy. But that place was, when it was rocking and full, there were a lot of people in there. And I think they were just into everything we were doing.
Yeah.
Some of the fans of the cosplay wrestling, when we were doing it, were really into it, and because we did storyline and continuity over shows.
Yeah.
You'd have people that would start getting into the storylines. You'd have people start getting into some of the characters. We start having people how many people excuse me, cosplay Clockwork Orange at a convention?
Yeah.
Nobody.
Yeah.
But at our wrestling event, we start seeing more and more people dressing up like that shit.
Yeah.
Because we had a fucking 35-year-old character that had nothing to do with comic books
at all,
sci-fi, fantasy, or anything, but he was one of our wrestling characters, and people were starting to get into it. Yeah. So anyway, there were like 4 or 5 people that started shooting the Sieg Heil up in the air.
Not something we anticipated at all.
I'm like, oh no. And the funny thing is, I don't think they were Caucasians. I think they were they were South Miami Cubans.
Yes, they were.
Yeah. And so they were just along for the ride.
Yeah.
And although no, because communists didn't like.
Listen, it's a very fine line that you walk when you're in the crowd and you're going with the heel, and the heel happens to be Hitler.
Right.
It's a very fine line.
Yeah. I mean, I think we did it perfectly.
I think we did.
And we didn't. It didn't turn into a full-fledged hate rally. Yeah. It was just 3 or 4 people shooting the fucking arm up once when they came out. I'm like, oh my god.
Although I will say we had a very interesting crowd, because remember that promo I cut on the 4th of July threatening to burn the Declaration of Independence or whatever it was. And mind
you, it was the Constitution.
Yeah, it was the Constitution.
Okay. So let's set that up.
Yeah.
You were Cobra Commander,
yeah,
and we were having a 4th of July convention, so you were threatening to burn the Constitution and desecrate the flag or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's when
Hacksaw and Sergeant Slaughter
are supposed to come out and stop you from doing that.
Yeah.
And then also challenge you to match on the 4th. You're threatening to you guys tore up the Constitution.
We did tear up the Constitution.
Yeah.
We were threatening to burn the American flag before they came out.
And they were like chanting for you to do it, right?
I don't remember. Now I will preface this with, this was also the same year my father passed.
It was the day after.
It was the day after my father passed away. I only did this because my mother and my sister basically told me I had to do this. To tell you that I remember anything, I remember bits and pieces of stuff. I don't remember the promo I don't remember what I said. I just remember.
I mean, it's basically what we.
I just remember I had about
words.
1,000 people were like, "Yeah, let's fuck America. Let's fucking do this. Let's burn it all down." And I'm like, "Well, how did we get here?" Like when I almost feel like when they came out to save it, like some of the people were like, "Oh man."
Sometimes it's like
"Oh man, we wanted to see the flag burn."
sometimes we just expect people to behave the way they're supposed to expect, and they don't. Like when you did that show at the bike club.
Oh my god!
Right down the street here, and like, listen, I don't know nothing, but this is Hillbilly Davy, white biker crowd. I wouldn't be surprised if I saw a couple of swastika tattoos or some other kind of code kind of shit. And you were wrestling
Frank Stone,
who was a black man. And we just assumed, I guess we all falsely assumed, you and Frank and everyone else assumed they would boo the black man and be all for the big white guy that's about to beat him down. They
hated me.
They hated you.
Yeah. And by the way, this is a time where I was
they loved him.
Yeah. This is a time where it was weird for me, where like I was still trying to do heel shit, but people really just wanted to fucking be behind whatever the fuck. I got that weird Austin CM Punk kind of thing. So I was like, these are going to be my people. Like, Frank, like, this is how we get in the ring, and I go, oh, everything's going sideways. This is awesome.
This is like Hogan Rock in Canada.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure, like, me and Drexel both ended up close. Now, Drexel way closer than me, but there was intentions of some of the eyes where, like, someone can get stabbed.
Well, Drexel was doing a hardcore match. He was doing it with a member of the fucking biker club.
Gentleman Jim.
Who was a member of the club.
Yep.
And so they're doing this hardcore match all over the fucking back parking lot and the dumpsters and picking up real weapons. And listen, it's still real to them. You know, whether it's real or not, it's their brother. And this guy just hit him over the head with a barbed wire board or something. I saw a guy reach into his boot or something and pull out a knife. I was like, I forget who I said. I said, someone's got to fucking get them back in the ring because someone's going to walk over and do like the jab real quick in the Derek's side and walk away, dumping the knife off somewhere like a prison hit. I was like, holy shit.
Handed off 3 times wrapped in a towel.
That was the same magnificent show. I think we already mentioned it where Hudak pulled up for the show, Mike Hudak.
Yeah.
Who like I've said before, has 2 hollow legs.
Yes.
Can drink the fuck out of a bottle of Jack and still walk a straight line. He pulls up, opens a car door, an empty can of Four Loko tumbles to the ground, and he's got another one in his hand. He's like, and says something like, "What's up, fuckheads? Let's you know, let's get through this shit show." Like he had already been prepping for this to be a shit show by being on a second Four Loko. I'm like, oh my god, and that's the same show where Anthony like threw a chair on Trevor's head or something.
That's right. Holy shit.
AJ, our other Perks Club brother, was in the ring with Tech Squad, and I guess he didn't really like them, or they were having issues at the time, and I think Trevor was like laying prone on like the front row of chairs that had been emptied out, like because they had been brawling outside. Anthony just threw a chair at him, and it landed right in his face. Oh my god! Like, oh my god! But you know, I don't think they gave him a receipt for it. I don't think they have it.
There's no fucking way.
I don't think they have that in them.
No.
Maybe Mike, but
no, Mike does.
Definitely not Trevor.
It's yeah. Oh my god.
The rest, like, it's so funny. We tell one thing and it reminds us like 18 other.
We can get down a real fucking rabbit hole here, buddy.
I think there are certain shows we could do entire podcasts of.
Yeah.
And just go down the line of all the fucked up shit.
AJ on the phone for that 420 show.
Or some of the conventions. We're gonna have to start talk convention stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, the good, bad, and the ugly, because it's just good fucking stories.
Yeah. If you think everything we've said on the podcast so far has been entertaining, some of those stories, once we get into them, my god. Some of the late nights, some of the shenanigans, some of the shit that I can't believe we got away with. Because we legitimately, these are conventions that towards the end, before we were
I could
asked
talk-
to step away.
I could, yeah, as suggested,
Yeah.
shown the door.
We there'd be 40,000 people through that weekend, and we'd run around like we owned the fucking place.
No one challenged us
No
when
one
we
said
acted like we
nothing.
did.
We were at the wrestling. Oh, all right.
Listen, I could talk a good 45 minutes about Chelsea Diamond and. Okay, I think that's where we're gonna leave it right there. Oh, you just lost your shit.
Good point, Ghost.
Oh no. So yeah, everyone go to the website. You can download our podcast anywhere now. We're on iTunes. We're on like Spotify. We're on this, that, and the other. I think we're on Google, but I'm not sure yet. But you don't have to watch it on YouTube. You can stream the audio and listen to it at a faster speed. Like I do. We've got shirts are in stock now, so it'll take a lot less time to get to you. Go to the website for that, and follow us on all the fucking social medias, which I'm not going to spell out for you because fuck it, I'm too lazy.
Oh, my goodness.
Are we done?
Yeah, we're good.
Oh,